Hi there, welcome to a show where I talk about overlooked stuff, where people with nothing better to do might enjoy. Today's topic, Nasus support. First of all, did you know that Nasus support has a really good poke ability on his E? Chances are you already knew that if you've been here for the last 2 seasons, cause that shit was painful to fight. I've seen Nasus abuse APE maxing for a while now, until the nerf back in patch 14.18. And then everybody hopped off the Nasus train and peace was restored to the Rift. Or that's what most people think, especially Riot, because this dog is still cooking with his AP nonsense. His AP is near impossible to dodge, the poke is still insanely effective, and it still shreds armor. It shreds armor in a lane where attack damage carries exist. It is stupid, it is cheap to itemize, and it still works a lot better than you think. And not only can he be effective early on with AP, Nasus support can scale into the most annoying utility tank in mid to late. With the technology known as Trailblazer and Swifties, Nasus can run people down to press W on them, which slows their movement and attack speed by an insane amount. We're talking about a 47% slow and 35% less attack speed at level 1. At level 5, this jumps up to a whopping 95% slow and 71% less attack speed. And he can do all this to ADCs for a whopping 5 seconds. 5 seconds where the ADC is fighting with one leg and one arm tied behind their back. Combine this with his E in mid to late game, Nasus might as well be pointing a laser at the enemy carry because they're about to be jumped by everyone. So you feel like being an asshole from beginning till the end, watch the rest of this video to see how we make this AP tank Nasus work. Now let's talk about which runes to use. So for the runes, we're gonna go with Arcane Comet, because Land E get extra damage. This is just the way. You can take either Mana Flow Band or Axiom Arcanist for the first roll. Normally Mana Flow is the best option here, but Axiom Arcanist is still kinda broken for the ult CD decrease, so I'll let you decide based on your preference. Personally, I enjoy running Axiom Arcanist, and for the next roll, we will go with Transcendence for low CDR. More E, more damage, more poking. And to complete the poking trifecta, we'll go Scorch, as usual. For the second tree, I recommend taking Presence of Mind to help mitigate early mana issues, and I would say cut down to poke more effectively, because your goal isn't really to kill people early on, it's more to just poke them down and force them out of lane, and hopefully get a kill. But most of the time it's just forcing them to back home. For adaptives, I recommend Adaptive Force, Movement Speed, and HP scaling. As for the summoner spells, I recommend running either Ghost or Flash for movement, although I'm a big fan of Ghost just to run to and away from fights. For support spells, I recommend Heal and Exhaust because they help your carries. Ignite is okay, but it isn't all that good in my opinion, since it's not likely you'll be in kill range to use it, unless the enemy is like super inting towards you. So primarily just stick with Exhaust and Heal. The combo I find to be generally good for most situations is Ghost and Heal, because that covers your mobility problems and helps your carry escape dies while you slow them down. For your items, once again standard support start with World Atlas and 2 health pots. Turn your support item into Bloodsong or Solstice Slay when you can. Bloodsong for more damage in fights and Solstice Slay for more mobility. For your first item, rush Lost Chapter into Blackfire. This will do everything for you. It will restore mana, it will upgrade poking capabilities, and the multi-person hit unique passive is dead easy to activate in team fights. For shoes, I recommend Swifties, but defensives are also a good option. Symbiotes are okay, but I don't really expect to roam too much on Nasus support. Usually you'll just be in lane poking the enemy support and AD carry. Next, go Trailblazer for your second item. It gives you the mobility and armor needed to chase down and tank damage for your ADC. And then your third and final core item is Liandry's. This will ensure that anything standing near you during ult or an E piss puddle dies. The burn damage is crazy. And then your final item should be a defensive item. Choose from this list right here. For potions, I recommend Elixir of Iron for tanking and mobility. As always, experiment and find out what you like. As shown in the skill leveling section, everything in the early game hinges on your E ability. Nasus without Lost Chapter will run into mana issues, so it is crucial to use your E optimally. try to only use your E when Arcane Comet is up for maximum damage. Also, try to aim it so that you can hit both the enemy support and ADC at the same time, preferably near the center to guarantee multiple hits. If possible, also land your W to further maximize the damage they take in E as well. But if they have an enchanter, your goal is to deplete the enemy's mana instead, since your poke without Blackfire Torch cannot outdamage shields or healing, so just focus on draining their mana instead. If no safe poke opportunities exist, focus on using support charges to stack your Q. Repeat this until mid-game. At mid-game, you should have Blackfire soon, so your poke should be pretty effective at this point. Now is where tanking damage for your ADC becomes pretty important. While the usage for your skills remains the same from early game, the addition of your ult allows for some nifty mind games. In addition to healing you, Nasus' ult makes you tankier than before. This can be an excellent counter to enemy dives. When enemies try to dive you at 50% HP, just pop ult and tank the extra amount of damage. If done right, you can even pick up a couple of kills if the enemies are trying to tower dive you. On the flip side, if there's a golden opportunity for an all-in, pop ult and go to town on the enemy bot lane. Even if you have little to no stacks on Q, Q damage is still Q damage, and the aura field around Nasus can do pretty consistent tick damage when paired with Blackfire. Continue bullying the enemy bot lane and helping your ADC scale. At late game, you should be one of the fastest tanks alive. Your job is to chase down squishies and catch them with W. Use E to shred their armor and continue annoying people with your presence. Try to save ult until you need to either tank a lot of damage or bonk someone to death. Roam around and help your team, especially at objectives. Your E can deal a lot of damage to dragons and barons. Also, if you have free time, try to catch some waves to stack up your Q, although don't do it too much because it might piss off some people. Rinse and repeat and you should win the game. Here are the pros and cons and champion matchups. Nasus support is the first overlooked character in the poll to be tied with another voted character, Set support. It was rather funny to see this happen, especially considering their history together as rather toxic support picks during the previous seasons. Well, here's to hoping it won't give you a toxic experience as well. But what do you think? Were you a Nasus support abuser? Or are you still a Nasus support enjoyer? How would you play Nasus support? Did you enjoy watching? And did you subscribe? Do you have your own suggestions for this series? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Your idea could end up in the next community poll. And that's all for today, folks. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. Over 90% of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel, so consider doing so if you're interested. I'll catch you guys later. Rock Tofu, signing off.